the circle of people around you matter. And you need to be very careful about who's in your circle. I look at it like this, like you're the bouncer at the door, right? And you decide who comes in and how long they stay, and then you decide who you need to throw out.
That's big.
So in the service, I think what was done there is like they did such a great job in the hiring process. I mean, they spent months and months interviewing you, investigating you, talking to your neighbors, figuring out who you are, if you're going to fit into the culture, if you're a person of integrity. I used to go to college overseas, and one of the colleges I went to was in Italy. I lived in Rome. I did a semester abroad, 6 months. They sent an agent to my college in Rome to interview my professor to find out what kind of student I was.
Wow.
That's the level of like assessment that they do. So when they do that, they're plucking people out and selecting and putting them in this group. And then you get put in there, I get put in there. And so now you're around this caliber of people. And you have to look at your circle. Who's around me? This isn't about niceness or kindness. I'm not saying that those things don't matter. They do. You want people who treat you well and with respect. But you also have to look at what are these people doing to me? So, for example, if you have someone who has a lot of drama in their life, that's a massive red flag because their drama is going to become your drama.
Right.
So you may say, but I don't engage in this stuff. I don't do this stuff. But what you don't realize is their life and their choices bleed into yours. If there's someone in your life that has a lot of chaos or conflict, that stuff is going to bleed into you. And they'll tell you, oh, I don't like conflict. I don't like trauma. But then you will always see that it's this repetitive thing. And what happens is, although they may say that, you can get addicted to that. It gives you your adrenaline shot. It gives you your cortisol shots. It's a booster. And so the same people that say, I don't like it, don't listen.
Watch their behavior.
Look.
Yeah.
Look. People will show you. And you will see. So that's what I would focus on. And that's the one thing the service was excellent at showing me. They didn't, what's interesting? They didn't tell us this. I just intuitively learned this. So I was steady because I was around other very steady people. I was grounded because the world around me was grounded. I mean, things would happen even in the White House. Every day there was some kind of a serious event in the world, something tragic, a tragedy. So not just us, but also the core element of the White House, the staff, you would see people just become grounded. Let's sit down. What's going on in the world? What just happened? Who got bombed? Who got attacked? What shooting happened? And you'd see this kind of synergy of people moving together to figure out what are the next steps? What's the solution? No chaos, no drama. No fight or flight responses from people like, we need to do something now. No reaction. I've never seen that.
Wow.
I've never seen that. So it's like a really great, I don't want to say think tank, but it was just a place that you could go and they were expecting it. But you were also in a space where it was understood things are going to go wrong and it is okay.
Interesting.
Where most people are not okay with that. Most people design their lives so that nothing goes wrong.
They try to control their lives so things don't go wrong. And when they go wrong, they freak out and they're a breakdown.
Yes, because you're thinking, well, why is this happening? Why is that happening? Rather than this stuff will happen. It will be going on. Now I can mitigate it, right?
Yes.
But that stuff is going to come.
That's what I like about, Navy SEALs, UFC fighters, like they're training for worst case scenarios. They're kind of putting themselves in uncomfortable situations physically, mentally, emotionally, consistently so that they know how to handle challenges. And I think a lot of people just don't set themselves up for challenging times. They try to have comfortable lives. And therefore, when there is an uncomfortable situation, they're in breakdown.
Yeah, because you think stress is bad. That's what everybody tells you. Relax, go get a massage. Stress is bad. No, a certain level of stress is good. Here's the difference. Stress that is like, let's say we're doing this interview and we're uncomfortable, or I'm uncomfortable. I come in and I'm comfortable. I don't like interviews. I don't like doing them. Me coming in, making myself sit down, doing the interview and overcoming that is good stress. That builds resilience. The stress that is not good is chronic stress. So chronic stress is, I have a relationship with someone. They are not healthy. The relationship is not healthy. So every day I'm dealing with chronic stress. Am I going to get yelled at? Is this person going to do this to me?
Yeah.
That is not good for you. And that causes a deterioration in your self-esteem and your psyche and all these different things.
Right.
That's the difference. And even in training, the way they worked training with all of the type of training, the first day they introduce stress levels to you and then incrementally they increase the dosage.
Really?
Oh, yes. Oh, the stress you endure day 1 is very different than the stress they're putting on you day 60.
Why is that?
Because they need to help you gradually get there. It's not to say that you're not going to lose people in the beginning. In fact, I started with the NYPD first. I went in as a recruit, and my class was 1,500 recruits in the NYPD. The first month, I think ballpark, 300 people quit. 300 people quit. And this is NYPD. I actually thought it was quite tough. And they were putting stress on you. They're making you feel not welcomed. You're lucky to be here. And it was just this it was a stressor to see, can you handle it? And they did want people who couldn't understand that, this isn't just about you. And they would say to us, if you can't handle the stress in here, how are you going to handle the stress out on the street? And they would say, where people hate you, because so many people hate police. It's like people hate you. They're in your face. They want to cause you harm. So if you can't handle that out there, then you can't be doing this.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so your circle of matters is number 1. What was the second thing that the service taught you that you wish everyone understood?
So they taught me to be something that's called instrumental. Instrumental is, let's look at it this way. There's 2 motivational mindsets, actually. It's called sense making. And the research shows one mindset is identity, one mindset is instrumental. An identity person is very self-focused. Now we move through these, by the way. But when I'm identity, I'm using the word I a lot. I this, I feel this way. I'm in an emotional space. I'm very egocentric. So I'm looking at the world as how it affects me. I'm not looking really for solutions or moving forward. I'm really just looking to talk about me, maybe sometimes to talk about my problems, to have somebody comfort me. It's a very emotional state of being. When you're there, you're not being very productive. We all visit identity land from time to time. I'm not saying we don't, but you're stuck. Instrumental is I'm mission focused. I'm goal focused. I have a goal. This is what my goal is. And I'm looking how to get to that place. So if I get feedback on something, right, I'm not going to take it personally. So if I'm working on a project and the project manager says to me, Evie, this proposal you put together, I didn't like it. Fix it, right? If I'm instrumental, I will hear, he didn't like what I put together. I'm going to fix it because he wants me to make it better. If I am identity, I'm going to hear he doesn't like me.
You'll take it personally.
Those are 2 different things. So in this service, we were very instrumental. Nobody wants to hear your problems. Nobody cares. Get it done. Nobody cares why this went wrong, how it went wrong. It's fix it. Just get to the solution. So you're in a state of moving forward. You're in a state of making progress, which was very important because if you don't think like that, lives are on the line.
Well, I mean, if someone's thinking, well, but what if I'm working really hard and someone just keeps giving me feedback that they don't see what I'm up to, or they don't appreciate the value I'm creating, or they're just constantly, it feels like they're nitpicking at me as opposed to just seeing the value I bring. How does someone overcome that identity-based sense-making and not make it a personal and just focus on being instrumental and service-based?
If the feedback you are getting is accurate and correct and true, then you understand they're giving it to me because I have work to do. Yeah. If it's like you're hurting my feelings, then your identity. And that's fine. It just depends where you want to live. So if you want to know where the best performers live, they're instrumental. Right. My first day on the president's detail, my supervisor, when I walked in, now I'm 7, 8 years on already. I'm senior. I walk in, I sit down. It's my first day at the White House, getting ready to start on the president's detail. He sits down and he says, there's the door. He's like, anybody here not want to be here? Anybody confused as to why they don't want to be here? There's the door. You can walk through it anytime. Yeah. Anybody?
No one's forced to be here.
No one's forced to be here. Nope. Okay, good. Let's get started.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.